Yo. Watch me come in with the bars. No, I don't have any bars. What's up, y'all?
Are you going to, though?
I'm not. No, it's not. Trust me, we're not going to be opening the show with me rapping anytime soon. I know that would be lovely for you.
It's probably a better chance we open the show with me rapping. Is that what you're saying?
There is a 100% chance that you will open the show rapping before I do. AFAB family, what's up? Good afternoon. It's a beautiful Sunday. Tyler Watts here with Eli Pena, the Anything for a Bit Sportscast.
What up?
How we feeling?
Oh, man, I feel good. I feel good about me anyway. I'm not sure how I feel about the Cowboys right now. I personally feel good.
Oh, man.
So, maybe you want to specify your question there and exactly what you're asking.
Well, let's just let the fam know what we're doing today. Today, we're going to run through offseason moves for the Cowboys. There's a few things that have been set in stone that have actually happened.
RIP 19.
Put on paper. Oh, trust me, he will live on. Of course, we're going to cover, the Amari Cooper trade, go through some other things that are in the works, salary cap, the salary cap tango, is going on right now. So we've got some restructures that have been done, some cuts that have been made, and some players that we've given permission to, seek trade partners. So we'll go through all of that plus mock draft 2.0.
Let's go. Can't wait to get into that mock draft.
Yeah, speaking of the trades, obviously one of the bigger ones was Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. So this mock draft we're gonna go through kind of updates. It keeps that in mind, updates, but it's nice. It's got some spice to it, and that's what's so cool.
Is a psycho, bro.
That's what's so cool. It's from NFL.com. That's what's so cool about the offseason is you get to go through all these, what if scenarios. But I mean, honestly, it just takes one domino to fall, a certain way. And, some of those scenarios can change, on draft day. It's exciting. So we'll go through mock draft 2.0, see what we got.
I think we know where Juan
stands. Chat's already popping off.
Yeah, I think we know where Juan stands.
Juan Diaz, OG listener. We doing the worst bit of reloading ever. Well, again, I think if
forever,
this ain't dominoes, this Jenga. Yeah, I think some people would liken that. And
welcome to the salary cap league, baby.
To say, on that Jenga point, we'll go through some of these, but I think Juan is onto something there because, you talked last time about all the bad deals and kind of how they stack up, right? And each offseason, it does kind of feel like we're maybe removing a few pieces and it's still standing, right? Oh, okay, we can get
is it more like Tetris than Jenga?
I would say like maybe to the sentiment of people who feel like it's kind of crashing down because think about
you're taking pieces out, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You don't really take pieces out in Tetris. So
it feels very wobbly, right? Because you're talking about 1 year ago we're scouting this team going into the season being like NFC Championship, and now we're like, are we going to be, I think we're still going to be the best team in the division, but
Yeah, I think we have to
there's still
remember.
going to be some people that are, like, it's coming down to earth,
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
think there's some credence there to his analogy, but what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel the sentiment, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just at this point, and I know it pisses everybody off that I try not to get too high or too low on anything,
Oh,
right?
you're not emotional.
Except for Dak, right? I get
Oh,
too
okay,
high on
bet,
Dak, right?
bet,
But
bet.
like
Okay.
when it comes to the team in general, right? I don't want to be too high. I don't want to be too low. Because I don't want to be the guy that's like, who cares if we won 12 wins last season or won 12 games last season, right? I want some playoff success. And I do, but like, oh no, you don't get to the playoffs without 12 wins. You don't get 12 wins without building a good roster, right? Like it's not a thing. So you got to give some credence to the team for what they did last year. I think this may be the most down I have ever seen a fan base after a 12-win season, like ever. Right? Like
The
that's
weight of expectations, baby.
right. Now, don't get me wrong. We're out here trying to get better, and we're moving on from guys like Amari Cooper,
The weight of
which doesn't
expectations.
make you better, right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I get it. It's frustrating, but that's a salary cap league too, right? In a perfect world, of course you keep Amari Cooper. Of course we're not talking about some of these other guys being moved on from, but it's not a perfect world. It's a salary cap league, and the bad deals like we discussed last week are what's led to this point. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it can be Jenga, but I don't know. I just don't know that we're in these dire straits. Like people that think we're going to win like 7 games next year or something is I don't know. That just I don't
That
think
they
Amari
tripping?
Cooper I don't think Amari Cooper makes a 6-game difference. That's crazy. 5 that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
No wide receiver makes that much of a difference to a team. So,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as bad as everybody's worried about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
But
hear
we'll
you.
see. This team does make a
We
lot of
shall
bad
see.
deals. Not absolving them
Let's
of that.
let's lead off on that, okay? So big news. Or probably one of the biggest headlines from the team so far this offseason. The Cleveland Browns have agreed to acquire Cowboys wide receiver Amari Cooper in exchange for the 2022 fifth round draft pick and a swap of 2020.
Amari Cooper's only worth a 5th-round pick, Tyler. Another terrible deal by the Cowboys. I can't believe they could only get a 5th for Amari Cooper. He's
Okay.
Cooper. He's
Okay.
Amari.
Let me tell you something, Eli. I just got brand new computer. Okay. Now, in 1 week, I'm going to throw this computer in the trash.
1 week?
1 week.
1 week.
But I'm here today to do a deal with you.
Okay.
So offer me something, and this computer could be yours. Okay.
Well, can I just pick it up out of the trash, though?
Let's not talk about that.
Well, you're
What
going to throw it
I'm
away in a
letting
week,
you
right?
know is that I have this computer right now, and you can get it directly from me. Because there's gonna be other
Mm,
people jumping in the trash, man. You don't want to
mm,
do that. There's other
mm,
people watching my trash can,
mm.
okay? So like when I throw it in there, you're gonna have to fight for it. But you
But,
can
like,
get
I
it from
could,
me now.
though. I could fight for it, though.
Sure.
And then I
Yeah.
wouldn't
I
have to
mean,
give you anything.
you look like a pretty strong guy. So I mean, you could. And you're right. I would miss out. I wouldn't get anything. Um, but yeah, I think we should do a deal for this computer, man. What you
Yeah,
gonna give me?
man, sure. I'll give you a paperclip.
I don't have any paper clips. Oh crap! Let me get that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Listen, bro, I get it. People, you look at Amari Cooper and you're like, that's one of the best wide receivers in the league. I don't know if someone's gonna say he's top, 4 or 5, whatever, but you're not getting out of the top 10 receivers in the league without talking about Amari Cooper. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
He's in that discussion.
how it does feel wrong that we are getting a fifth or swapping picks
Right.
with
Swapping a 6th
Cleveland
and getting a 5th.
if for Amari Cooper, but this again is This is a symptom or the result of our bad deal making. We are in a terrible position, and the best case scenario was to get something.
Right. That's what people
Something.
have to understand, right? Like, we were getting rid of Amari Cooper. The Cowboys were going to release him. Yeah, Juan tripping. The Cowboys were going to release him, right? They were going to free up $16 million in cap space because that's
Yeah.
what mattered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Juan should have traded him Seattle, someone with stacked picks. I have a computer too. Yeah, I got an extra paper clip for you, Juan. I got you. But look, we were going to get nothing for him.
Nothing. He
Nothing.
was going to be gone.
So,
yeah.
in a vacuum,
Exactly
is Amari Cooper the wide receiver worth more than a 5th-round pick? Absolutely he is, right? Of course, we traded for him a 1st-round pick for him a few years ago, right? But that was on a rookie deal. And then we had the understanding that we were going to re-sign him. And the Raiders didn't have to trade him. He was on a rookie deal. The Cowboys were going to get rid of Amari Cooper because they needed that $16 million.
Yeah.
Everybody in the league knew that. So nobody is going to go, let's look at the value of this guy. You know what? He's worth a 3rd-round pick in reality. So let's just go ahead and give the Cowboys a 3rd-round pick for a guy that they're throwing in the trash.
Yep.
No team's going to do that. Yep. So everybody just be happy that you got a 5th-round pick instead of nothing, and let's move forward.
Right. Because you had to find a trade partner that was in a very specific scenario where they had an advantage of not competing in free agency, but had a wide receiver need and, were willing to part with some type of draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Cleveland fit in. Like, that's the best you're going to get,
Yep.
Just it sucks. But remember that, like, it's not like we just went out there and got hosed because we said, hey, trade for Amari Cooper, give us a 2 or 3. And they're like, we'll give you a 5. And we're like, cool, we'll take it. It's just, like I said, the culmination of just bad deals and how we got into that spot where we were forced to take I don't want to say a losing trade, but maybe a poor value trade on our end. Because we stuck ourselves in a salary cap situation this year, though, like this. So
something is always better than nothing. So
yeah, and maybe people were tweeting out lists of the former 5th-round picks we had made and stuff like that. But I mean, what are you going to do? Again, I'm either going to throw Amari to free agency for nothing,
right?
Okay, or get something. We got something,
and maybe you flip your 2 5ths to move up in the 4th or something like that, right? And you do get a better value pick out of that. We'll see. We'll see.
Possible.
It's good to have darts to throw at the dartboard, though. Cheap labor is how you get yourself out of a salary cap situation.
Right.
So if they get a couple darts to throw in the 5th round and one of the 2 hits, great.
Right.
You got super cheap labor for the next 4 years.
Right.
That's the idea, So, I'm sad Amari's gone. That was my wide receiver 1. Y'all all know that. Y'all know how important he was to Dak in this offense. But we knew it was going to happen, right? We talked about this last week. It's been talked about for a while in this area. Wasn't really a surprise. And, ultimately, I'm happy that they got something for him.
Hey, man. Coop's my guy. He was a solid player while he was here. Definitely took the offense to new levels. Maybe responsible for Dak getting, the contract that he has now. So
certainly a big piece of it. You can't argue that.
It can't be maybe not the only piece, but certainly a big piece. So
excuse me.
Can't argue that. He's a solid dude. Interesting to see if him and Baker work out. But we'll keep an eye on Coop, next season. But moving forward.
Juan says you got to go get a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds.
Okay, well, Juan, please don't do any drafting for us, okay? Because that is not gonna. You know what? I won't say it's not gonna happen, but that is a okay. See, now you're tripping. Not gonna. Okay, got it.
I do think, for the record, I do think that the Cowboys are going to take wide receiver with one of their first 2 picks.
They will. I
do think that they
will.
And
that will.
That's don't know why if it'll be first round, but maybe in the second.
Yeah. And sorry, I think I misread Juan's comment. He's saying it within the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, right. First 2 rounds.
Got it.
Yeah.
Not really something to talk about at length, but Dak and Zach reworked their deals, got $22 million in cap space.
Something
Pretty
that was
standard
always going to
stuff
happen.
there, right?
Yep,
It was always going to happen. But that does help because there are plenty of people we are trying to do deals with, and
like Dalton Schultz.
that we need every penny of cap space for. So just good that got done. But I mean, there's nothing really to worry about there. But then there's some cuts that have been made, and I don't think we talked about these on the last show because they weren't done. But Greg the Leg is gone.
See you, buddy.
I don't think anybody's.
I'm not going to scout any kickers, but don't be surprised if you see the Cowboys take maybe that extra 5th round pick they got from Amari Cooper and flip it into kicker.
That's right.
Man, wouldn't that be a great storyline? How would the fan base freak out? We traded Amari Cooper for a kicker?
A kicker.
Can't wait for that. I'm hoping.
That's and I mean that may be it. Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna be crying because Greg's gone. It's kind of the source of a lot of ire last year, even though he was pretty much an average kicker.
I could pay somebody else to miss field goals and PATs.
Yeah. We can pay another average kicker and see what happens. But yeah, and then Jarwin got released too, right?
And that's sad. That's unfortunate for him. He may be done, honestly. Yeah. Just, injuries stacking up, and I don't know. Those reports are not good, which, one reason why they really felt like they needed to get Schultz done, especially because they knew they were going to move on from Amari. So makes the franchise tag on Schultz a little bit more palatable, I suppose, because, they had to move on from Jarwin given the injury history. So,
yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. And I mean, hopefully that dude, gets just healthy again in general, and not even football wise, just healthy. Because his hip injury sounds a little uncertainty as far as altering, just his mobility in general.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like walks, not. Yeah. So hopefully he just gets healthy in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is gone off the roster. Freeing up a little bit of space, but I mean, not a huge, money numbers there. We're talking about a couple million with those. But like I said, in this particular offseason, every penny's going to count. But yeah, man, the big one that I had been seeing this last week, and this is something we talked about last year, even in mid-season, really. With the emergence of Terence Steele, we kind of kicked around the idea of Collins being a trade piece in the offseason. And at the time, it felt a little far-fetched because we were like, all right, Terence Steele is filled in admirably, but like Lyle is that dude, right? Like there right. Obviously, there is a difference of opinion, there at the start because they feel like Steele. And I mean, again, the numbers, I think this is numbers driven too, but Collins really didn't do himself any favors,
Yeah, and you're going to save about $1.8 million to move on from him.
Right.
You're going to pay him $10 million, I think each of the next 3 seasons. That's not a bad contract for a starting right tackle. Let me ask you this. Does some of this stuff with Amari Cooper, with Lyle, is there a personal hint to it? You feel like, is this front office taking some things personally? Because you had Coop, missed a couple games with COVID. Jerry spoke out about it, and got to put the I away or whatever he said. The me away, whatever he said. And then with Lyle, he has the drug test, missed drug test, and then gets suspended for that at the beginning of the season. And then he came into last season out of shape. Then he got hurt with the hip. We feel like the front office is taking some things personally here. Yes, Juan. Statistics. My bad.
I wonder.
Statistics.
Yes. There was a little bit of that during the season. Remember when Lyle comes back, there was kind of an expectation that he was just going to walk right back into his job.
And he didn't.
No question, right? That was quickly, right, turned around from the coaching staff. That's not what we're doing. And then even going forward, really the focus became the interior line play,
Right.
and it's suffering, and whether Lyell would go inside again and play guard, right? That was some of the kicking around. Well, hey, we've got a great, what's good / great
And I
lineman.
just don't think the Cowboys are going to do it. As much as we all in the fan base would love them to, and we talk about it, it just doesn't seem like it's in their plans. They have no inclination to move him to guard whatsoever.
Which then goes to, okay, if they're not even willing to entertain the idea of like, hey, we've got a good price lineman, let's just make him play guard, right? Like we've got him under contract,
right?
You have to ask yourself, like, are they just, is there something else? Are they being influenced by maybe some of that unavailability, or is he being viewed as someone who is a little self-destructive or something like that, right? It makes you wonder, because same deal with Amari, right? You heard. And I mean, I know people can report what they want, and not everything's, not everything that gets reported obviously is coming directly from the Joneses. But I don't think there was any rush to kill the buzz about we're not pleased with Amari Cooper and his vaccination decision and how it affected our availability.
Telling you, man, I don't know. It just feels a little bit personal this time around, and I don't really like that for my front office. Not a big fan of that. But we're
talking about a team that is not letting football people make all the highest football decisions, right?
Very true.
It's
very true.
A family. So
right.
Is it personal? Yeah, by nature. That's how they do business. It may be one of the best things about Jerry Jones if you ask the players, but it may be one of the worst things, about Jerry Jones if you ask the players and the fans, certainly to the fans. Because we've been calling for a GM and just, some type of outside influence at the, decision-making levels for forever now. But we know how that's turning out. But yeah, I mean, I think you can certainly make the case that there's some grudges being held or some type of emotional, component to that decision-making, because they could have kept Amari Cooper, right?
Well, and the emotion goes the other way too, right? With players like the Jalen Smith contract. Dude had no business getting a deal, but Jerry loved him some Jalen Smith so much, right?
Loved him.
And to your point, that's what, $7 million, I think, that's still on the books this year for Jalen's contract.
Yeah.
So I could have used that 7 to keep Amari.
Yep.
That cap hurts a lot worse if I have $7 million and I'm not paying to Jalen Smith. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're seeing it just feels very emotionally charged lately. And I don't like the idea of doing deals from that aspect. Not a fan.
Yeah. And I mean, even the, I'm reading over the Todd Archer, ESPN staff writer, pretty, he's breaking a lot of the Cowboys, stuff there. Even the tone of this article, I mean, Lyle, before last year, you'd have been like, man, Lyle Collins, that's the dude, he's not going anywhere. Just the tone of this article highlighting all of the, okay, I mean, he started off good, but he's got injuries. He's got
this and this and this and this and this.
Yep. He did sign an extension, but since he got that money, he hasn't really been available. This could be the start of an offensive line makeover.
But see, if that's a deal. If we lose that one, right? Like if you don't get at least a third from Lyell, then Cowboys fans, please kill the Jones family, because they don't have to move on the way that they are with Amari.
No,
he's only counting for like a $2 million cap hit this year. His overall salary is
It's
not high for his
it's
position.
1.3 million.
Right.
So this is purely moving him to get premium draft capital.
Yeah. So if I can't get a second or a third, at least for Lyle, you got to hold on to him. I just think that you do. But let me ask you, if they get a third, are you okay with Terence Steele in a third-round pick? Terence Steele's your starting right tackle, and you have an extra third-round pick to throw out there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because because in the first 3 rounds of this draft, you've got some, good, especially on like the defensive side of the ball. I'm thinking about skill positions. There's going to be some guys there that if you're getting an extra third-round pick, that could be a quality player right there. And especially when you're talking about, I know it's been doom and gloom this offseason for some of the moves, but the Cowboys still have one of the more promising rosters, even at this point in the division. The point is, that really what's going to determine, the success this next year, and not some mind-blowing statement here, but what are we going to do with some of these picks, right? Like what holes do we plug? What do we leave for us to pick up and try to find in the free agent, bargain bin? That's going to be a big deal. Yes, there's going to be other teams that have the players that, oh man, maybe we woulda, shoulda, coulda. But, with the players we have and plugging in certain people, this team could be right back there, competing, 11, 12 wins and hopefully progressing more in the playoffs. So, yeah, I definitely want that third. But that's, I think that's the lowest I'm accepting for Collins. If I'm getting, haggled or, it's 4th and 6th and, all those kind of, I'm good. I need the draft capital.
Yeah, I need a second or a third.
Yeah, because I'm trying to go get one of those, young linebackers that maybe someone's looking over, maybe a safety that's dropped, or again, even just having the ammunition to go up and get a guy that is hanging right in front of us, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 picks in front of us in that first or second round. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a smart deal to do if we get the right draft capital back.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be mad at it.
Maybe be one of the best things we can do this offseason, honestly. But yeah, so we'll be monitoring that over the next few weeks, to see what happens with that. You've got some you've got the Buccaneers, you've got the Broncos, you've got the Bengals, right? There's a couple of teams already that are in that Lyle Collins, sort of sweepstakes. So
every team in the league needs offensive line help. So just find the team willing to give me a second or a third.
Exactly. But yeah, man, that's like I said, it feels very doom and gloom, but we knew this team was going to be different going into this season. It like you said, it hurts to lose Amari Cooper, but ultimately he is not the crux of the problem. Kellen Moore better have been in the damn lab every day this offseason, figuring out how to scheme up better beating or
fix my scheme, fix my running game, teach the line how to block again. We could be a more efficient offense without Amari Cooper if we fix the other problems around the offense.
Exactly. No disrespect to Amari.
No, he's a better player than anybody that we'll have, but that doesn't mean that we can't be more efficient.
That's exactly right. Yeah, man, that's good. Always fun to go through that stuff, but there's still some deals to get done, right? There's still some players on this roster that we haven't heard too much about, except that we're trying to work on some things. Schultz got tagged, but we don't believe Schultz is going to play on that tag.
Oh no, it sounds like they're trying to do a long-term deal. And I don't know how we're supposed to feel about that, because you get a long-term deal done, you can make his cap hit like $5 or $6 million this year instead of $11 million. But that also means that you're gonna give him a $10 to $12 million salary for the next 3 or 4 years.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know? So we just like doubled down and we're going to pay the guy more than we paid the last guy who just got taken out of the league because his hip doesn't work anymore and he wasn't worth that contract either. Okay.
And I mean, look, you've said it. You've said it multiple times.
It'll be better for this year, but then what?
Yeah, and I think that's always that's kind of the Jones offseason philosophy. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make.
But if you're gonna go all in or whatever, right, and you're gonna do that long-term deal, then you got to restructure Amari Cooper. You don't trade La'el Collins, right? Like that's the piece that bothers me is like, hey, we're gonna do this long-term deal so we can free up cap space for next year to re-sign this guy. You know, bring J-Ron Curse back, bring Randy Gregory back, right? But we're gonna let the wide receiver go that I could restructure. Right? I could have saved $12 million on Amari Cooper's contract by restructuring him. I only saved $4 million more this year than I could have with that restructure.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like D-Law is staying, even though he said no to the pay cut from reports that are coming out this week. But if he doesn't, you know, if you trade La'el Collins and, you know, you're okay with Terence Steele, but is he better? No. It's really contradicting in logic to me to try to push for a guy like Dalton Schultz to sign him long term. You know, I would almost understand it more if they were saying, hey, we're gonna let him play on the tag because we don't feel comfortable losing Amari Cooper and Dalton Schultz, right? We're taking too much away from this offense. If we trade La'el, right, we're pulling too much away next season. We need a year to transition, right? We need a stopgap for a year. So we'll tag this guy, use him as that stopgap, and we'll draft a tight end this year in the 3rd or 4th round. That to me is more understandable logic with what they are doing than, hey, let's get rid of Amari Cooper. Let's ask D-Law for a pay cut. Let's trade La'el Collins. And let's make sure that we sign Dalton Schultz to a long-term deal so his cap hit is lower this year.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Again, it's
great. Let's do that.
It's a good plan. It's hard to follow.
It's a good plan.
It's hard to follow the logic, except that, you know, they're looking in literally 12-month windows. Like it's just hard to follow otherwise. And I mean, you have to plan. But again, you got to get, I think that, you know, otherwise you got to get some people in there that are better than you, smarter than you, done it, you know, at a good high level. Where is the investment, you know, in the staff at that level? But you know, that's a whole nother show. So I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, can we talk about something that makes me happy?
Yeah.
Bringing me down. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to.
Yeah. But there's deals to get done. We'll keep an eye on that, right? We're looking at J-Ron, we're looking at Gregory, we're looking at Schultz, looking at Gallup. You know, we'll see how all those dominoes fall, but there's still a lot of people that need to get paid. And
we keep hearing Gallup's going to get done this week. Then we're hearing it's going to get done next week. Then we're hearing this week. So maybe we'll see Gallup get done this week. We'll see. I think it's going to get done, but we'll just see. We could get Schultz and Gallup done this week. Wouldn't surprise me.
Tell me something. If I'm Gallup, am I giving any in negotiations? I mean, I got you at least looking at the barrel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may not have you over it, but like, I got you looking at it. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Do you though?
What are you gonna do though?
I'm gonna draft a wide receiver.
What I'm saying is his market is there anyway. Like he's probably gonna get a deal. You know,
yeah.
So like
maybe a component of want to stay in Dallas. You know, him and Dak are good friends. We know that.
Sure.
You know. Now, am I saying he's going to give a discount? No, but I think if the Cowboys come in around market value, I don't know why he would say no. Like if you're asking, do I think Michael Gallup is going to push for like a $15 million a year contract? No, because I don't think anybody's going to give him that.
Okay.
Although Christian Kirk looks like he's about to get $15 million a year. That news coming out of Arizona yesterday.
I'm just saying. See, we
and that makes you nervous, right? If Christian Kirk gets a $15 million a year deal, that makes you nervous. But maybe the ACL tear, right? Like I said, the familiarity with a quarterback. I think we're going to get Gallup between 10 and 12.
I would hope so. I'm just saying that it's a business and the agents are good at their job.
Sure, but I mean, and again, I have to compare Christian Kirk to him. I don't think of Christian Kirk as a way better receiver than Michael Gallup. I'd have to look at their stats, but I mean, it's a guy who's had 1,000-yard season.
Yeah, okay.
And then he was hurt his last year, and then he tore his ACL after he was already hurt. So
I hear you.
I don't know. I don't know that he has all this negotiating power because he's this overly proven commodity. I don't know that that's the case. Personally,
he's just in house. Is really what it is.
Right. And not to say that he won't have a market. I just would be very surprised if any team is going to give him, more than 13 million. I don't know. I don't see Michael Gallup getting 15 million a year. I don't see it, but I could be wrong.
Interesting. I just wondered, because like you said, the news just keeps getting pushed back, and maybe they're just taking their time. There's no rush to get it done, but you just wonder what the numbers are going to come out of that deal there.
I'm thinking like 4 for 48, something like that.
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's talk about something that's
put a smile on my face. Put a smile on my face.
Hopeful, future-driven, things that haven't been tainted by the Jones family. Mock draft 2.0 yet. And no disrespect. I mean, it's
actually a pretty good drafting team.
Honestly. I was about to say, really, they have drafted pretty nicely. We're really just, being petty. The mock draft. This is from NFL.com. Mr. Lance. How do I say that last name?
Zerline.
Zerline. Okay.
Yep.
No relation.
He's a psycho. He's a psycho. This might be my favorite mock draft of the year so far because I was reading through it and I was just like, "What is this guy doing?"
This is fun. This is fun. This would be ESPN's dream, right? Absolute chaos. You can't take your eyes off the screen. Everyone's changing picks, right? Players are going way different than their, were mocked. So it's changing up everybody's board.
I like to go with Dane Brugler's, right? That's the one that we did last time from the Athletic. But when you look at Dane's, it just seems so realistic.
Yeah. And
Lance Zerline might be a psycho. And I really love what he did.
What is the point of mock draft season if you cannot hypothecate ridiculous scenarios?
Yeah, so let's rock 1 through 10, do our NFC East roundup, and see what he did for the Cowboys.
Live from where's the draft at?
I don't know where it is this year. Actually, we'll just pretend like we do and move forward. Bad question, Tyler. Bad question. Making us look like we didn't do any prep.
Yep. I have no idea what city the draft is in. Don't know if that's important. It's not a Jerry World, so in this psychotic draft, pick number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Icky.
Ikwonu.
Yep, so that's the same guy we had in the last mock actually going number 1. He's offensive tackle, crazy high ceiling, but has no clue how to play the position.
Hey, man.
He's a beast, though. That dude is fun to watch. He's a monster. He just wants to run people over. Icky's a good time.
And that's good. Love a highlight when there is a 300-pound man running in full speed, mauling people down the field.
Icky's a good time. Icky's a good time.
But our other Mr. Proven Commodity at number 2, Evan Neal to the Carolina Panthers.
And
they're moving up.
The Panthers,
they're moving up in this mock.
Yeah, he's got a projected trade with the Lions there. Again,
that's right. Yeah,
Lance is a crazy person.
Going from 6 to 2.
He does mock drafts with trades.
Yep.
Because you can predict that kind of stuff. So in this predicted mock draft, the Panthers move up to the number 2 pick.
That's
and
right.
Go get Evan Neal, which. Probably right. I guess you wouldn't be wrong there whether you move up for a guy like Aiden Hutchinson or Evan Neal, whoever you go up at 2 to get. You're probably getting either the best tackle or the best edge rusher on the board there.
Yeah.
That's my number 1 tackle, so that'd be a good pick if you're asking me.
And this is a weird fantasy land because it's completely ignoring, current needs and events. And Deshaun Watson to the Panthers might happen. right? So they may
Mhm.
not even be in the first round this year after that trade.
Right.
But fun to look at that.
Yep.
But yes, if they don't and they get out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, not a bad move because eventually you're still going to be bad, but at least you got some good building block pieces.
Mhm.
Number 3, the Houston Texans.
Okay, this is where things get wonky.
This gets wild
Where things get
because
wonky.
no one has Trayvon Walker as the first defender off the board at number 3.
Okay. Trayvon Walker blew up the combine. He
Yeah,
did. This
he
dude
did.
is like 6'4", 6'5", 270 pounds, and he ran a 4.5 40. And all of his other testing numbers were through the roof, too.
Yeah.
But he's not better than Aiden Hutchinson on tape. He's not better than Kayvon Thibodeau on tape. And both of those dudes tested really well, too. Right? Like, this makes me feel like Trayvon Walker was a 4.4 athlete and Aiden Hutchinson was like a 4.8 athlete, right? Which is just not the case. Aiden Hutchinson had a slot wide receiver shuttle time. That's insane. Dude's like 260 pounds.
Yeah.
He's the best defender in this draft, and that's silly to think that a team would do that. But hey, it is the Texans, so.
And again, you just need one team to fall in love with you. Maybe something like that happens.
He is prototypical in size, length, weight. I mean, that dude is a monster. Don't get me wrong, but he just didn't show up on tape the same way some of these other guys did. And I don't think that we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, leading into the combine. I don't think that you can just throw a dude right. If he was in your top 15 picks, he's probably in your top 7 now. You can't take him from top 15, 20 to be like, okay, this is the number 1 defender in the draft. Like, come on, man. The tape doesn't in any way, shape, or form tell you that. But I love crazy people, though. So Lance Zierlein, number 3, Trayvon Walker.
So
the Jets are going to be really happy because they're going to get Aiden Hutchinson now, right? At 4.
No, they're going to go still on defense, but they're going to pick Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, safety. This is weird because most mocks have the Jets going O-line at this position here.
I mean, you still have Charles Cross on the board. You still have Trevor Penning if you really like him at the tackle position.
Yeah.
And you also have Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. They take a safety?
They take a safety. Now,
this would be hilarious.
Now,
I'd be crying watching this draft.
They do have pick number 10.
And I love what they do there, too.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe to give a little context, they're taking Hamilton here because they're thinking about the pair of players they're going to get in the top 10.
Sure.
But so we're gonna go to the Giants at number 5 because I don't know why I would take a safety when those premier line players are still there, but it's okay. Not my mock.
Not when you're the Jets, right? Didn't they just trade a safety?
Don't.
That they drafted really high and they didn't want to pay.
Did
they just do that?
Dare make sense? Okay. Don't.
I'm just saying.
Number 5, the New York Football Giants are going to take Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa.
Okay, this is actually kind of best case scenario in the world according to Eli.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have a top 5 pick and it's going to be a good player. And Trevor Penning is a good player, but nowhere near a top 5 pick.
Maybe one, right. If you were rating those top 10, he is definitely on the outside of the top 10.
Yeah, he's probably more in me personally probably more in my like top 20 to 25.
Right.
I didn't love him in his tackle film. He moved more like a guard, in my opinion, but he's 6'7", so he can't play guard. He can only play tackle.
Yeah.
So the Giants can have it number 5. That's fine.
Do it. And number 6, this is where the Lions move down to.
So the Lions move from 2 to 6.
Right.
And then got who?
And get Aiden Hutchinson.
And then get the best defender of the draft.
Which has been, I've seen Hutchinson floated around as like, is he going to be the first overall pick?
Right.
So Detroit
this would be like an all-time front office move. Detroit's back on the map, y'all. Dan Campbell coming to bite some kneecaps. Because if they move, like if you go up from 6 to 2, you're probably giving up your second round pick.
Right.
So like I'm gonna pick up a second round pick that's going to be a high pick because it's the Panthers pick.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna get Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep.
the
Sign me
Detroit
up,
Lions
please.
would win the draft. I don't even care what the rest of the draft
Sign
looks
me
like.
up,
They win.
please.
So yeah, that would be great for them.
That would be awesome for Detroit. Got no hate for them. Want to see bad franchises turn it around through good front office. And Dan Campbell is just, I don't know, likable. He's entertaining for sure. So I kind of want to see their team do good just so that dude's on TV a little more. But then at number 7,
love this even more.
The Giants via the Bears get Jermaine Johnson II, edge rusher from Florida State. We talked about Mr. Johnson. He's got the measurables, but you do not like the tape.
Man, Kayvon Thibodeau is still on the board.
Well,
this would be the most Giants thing ever. To take like the 4th or 5th best tackle and the 5th best pass rusher at 5 and 7. This would be like, again, for Cowboys fans.
They're gonna pay an out, bro. The 2 top 10
Cowboys fans, we are loving this. I'm telling y'all, if this is the way that it goes. Look, Jermaine Johnson is good, and he has all the measurables. He's a phenomenal athlete. He, tested very well at the combine. He could very well end up being a premier pass rusher in the league.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he doesn't have the tools. I just didn't like his tape that much. There's no way, especially again. Kayvon Thibodeau's on the board.
Right. It's not so much of these players. It's who's still on the board in this mock.
It's just silly.
Crazy.
So they could have taken Charles Cross and Kayvon Thibodeau with their picks.
Right. But they get Trevor Pettig.
Took Trevor Pettig and Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
Totally fine with that.
Who have been mocked at the end of the first round in most, that we've gone through. But,
doing wonderful things out there in New York.
Look, man. At number 8.
I know our guy Sean would be happy with this one.
ATL got Mr. Pitts last year. This year they get Kayvon Thibodeau.
Somehow Thibodeau drops to 8.
How does that happen? Now, see this. Even though
people don't like Kayvon Thibodeau.
I was about to say, even though this mock has been crazy, the slide of Thibodeau could happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, coming into the season, he was kind of your, this is the number 1 defender, this is the number 1 edge rusher, probably the number 1 pick.
Exactly.
And now, I mean, yeah, look, you could see him go more into that 6 to 8 range. I think this is probably about his floor.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, the problem with me is just more the guys that were taken ahead of them. Right. If we had 4 tackles taken and one of the corners was taken already, and that's how he got pushed down. That's one thing. Hutchinson goes, Walker goes. And I guess I could see Walker go above him.
4th edge rusher. Yeah, and again, Thibodeau is not to your point. In this mock, even though it's a little crazy, there's 4 edge rushers gone by pick 8.
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
And I think that's feasible.
Yeah.
Right. I think
but he's not gonna be. He's going to be 4th if he falls to 4.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if he was the 4th edge rusher taken.
It would be would be shocking.
But like I said, teams don't like him. Right.
Sure.
His interviews weren't great. Teams he's kind of looked at as an ego guy, which, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of ego in the NFL. So he'll fit right in.
Yeah, because I'm one of the best 60 people in the world at what I do. Okay.
But he's one of those guys that, maybe kind of looked at by some teams and some individuals like, man, does he really love the game? Or does he love himself and his brand? And those are questions that football teams ask when they're dedicating a top 5 pick. They want a guy that is Sean Lee in Luke Kuechly's body. That's what you want.
Hey, man. You know who's going to love Thibodeau? The team that picks him.
Right. Yeah. The Falcons would be very happy with that. If the Falcons could get him to 8, I think they'd be doing a little jig out there.
Yeah, dirty birds, little dirty birds.
Yeah, they'd be working.
Speaking of some dirty birds, Seattle kind of got some stank on it. They're in full rebuild.
Bye, Russ.
Russ is gone to the Broncos.
Bye.
DK is kind of like, who gonna throw me the ball?
Not Drew Lock.
What was that? That was your okay. So you did. If y'all didn't catch it, Eli did a guest appearance on what's that called? Halftime Rundown.
Yeah, Halftime Rundown.
On Halftime Rundown with Cesar Gonzalez. Check that out. but you after I watched the episode, I think you had talked about this. You were because it's a Fant that got traded, right? So no offense, like I got traded to Seattle. Dope. I'm gonna get passes from Russell Wilson. Oh wait, Drew Lock's coming with me. What are y'all doing?
Right. And Russell Wilson's going the other way. So you still have to catch passes from Drew Lock. Your life didn't change.
Seattle is acquiring draft capital. They got quite a few picks, a couple players. So Seattle's looking to rebuild.
Yep.
Pick number 9 is where they start the rebuild with Pete up there. And Zerline has them taking Malik Willis, Liberty quarterback.
And look,
Mr. Electric himself.
I love
at
Malik
number
Willis,
9.
Actually, I really like Malik Willis. But we've talked about these quarterbacks, and I'm not going to study them extensively because we have one.
We don't need one,
regardless of what Juan thinks.
Yeah.
We have one.
Right.
But Malik Willis is my favorite quarterback on the list, and the dude showed his arm strength at the combine. I mean, we were on the phone, I think, or something when I was watching the combine.
The highlights going on the website right now. I'm watching.
This dude is dropping like 70-yard bombs, like dimes. I don't know that any of these quarterbacks, if you look at their, how good they are as prospects, I don't know that any of them are first round pick worthy, but they're quarterbacks. So if the Seahawks move into the number 9 spot because, they traded Russell Wilson, Drew Lock's not your guy.
No.
He's there, but Drew Lock's not your guy.
Drew Lock may play half the season if you draft Malik Willis.
And if you like a quarterback, then you got to take him. So your first round pick is at number 9. If you like a guy, you take him. And Malik Willis would be the guy that I would take. Yeah, sweetheart. I know. We're always talking. We're always on the phone.
Mwah.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. We're the 2 best friends that anyone could have.
That would be interesting. Mina Kimes is a great follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
She immediately after the trade was like, screw it. Throw Willis in there. Let it rip.
Right.
I'm ready, right?
But that's what you got to think is they didn't even have a first round pick before. So, if they like a quarterback enough to go and get one at 9, then go get him at 9. That's what you do. You go get your quarterback.
And I mean, you got Drew Lock back just because you traded your quarterback. Okay. You did not get Drew Lock back because you were like, hey guys, we can do something with this guy.
Not the young god, Drew Lock.
Just needed,
not the young god.
Hold on though. I wish
a lot god.
I wish I had it pulled up. There was a tweet that was like, I know we traded for Russell Wilson, but does he know all the words to put on for my city like Drew Lock does? And they put the little gif of him
I do remember
rapping after halftime. My man was so like, look, I'm sure Drew Lock is like a lovable dude. Probably
I mean he can throw the football.
Right. Probably liked by his teammates, but he's just not.
I got sick bars too. I can't throw the football.
Yeah, not a great quarterback, but hopefully can stabilize the position a little bit until they figure it out. If they take Malik Willis there, love to see what the young buck could do. He looks electric on film. Dude only won in college.
A ton of fun.
Maybe one of those sneaky picks. Maybe the Seahawks strike twice and get some under the radar quarterbacks because Russell Wilson was originally not thought of for different reasons a little bit, but yeah, going on to the Jets, rounding out the top 10. This is one of the picks that they got from the Seahawks in the Jamal Adams trade, I believe, and they round out the secondary because they got Kyle Hamilton at pick number 4, I believe it was, and then they get Sauce Gardner, who is not only has one of the all-time great names,
right? Yeah.
in NFL history coming in. I think only second to Prime, and has blown everyone away basically in interviews and talking to him. Everybody loved what he looked like on tape. And as an athlete. I think they're falling in love with Sauce, the Sauce, right?
Yeah.
They're getting lost in the sauce, baby. So
reports from the combine where he did really well in the interviews. He's that alpha dog out there. He ran in the 4.4s at 6'4". Yeah, Sauce for the record. I know I don't see Coop on here with us today, but I know he was raking me over the coals about Sauce being number one.
Yeah.
Sauce is going to be my number one corner. I think.
Yeah, man.
I think I'll have him over Derek Stingley when it's all said and done. I'm moving closer and closer to that. I like this pick in a vacuum. I hate the tandem of picks because when you look at it, you say, okay, Sauce, the first corner off the board goes number 10 to the Jets.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Right? That's a premium position.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. But why don't you take an edge rusher at 4?
Right. So if I'm looking at 4 and 10,
or Evan Neal.
So I took a safety and
Neal
a corner with 2 top 10 picks. So I could have gotten the third best offensive lineman in this draft, right? I could have taken Charles Cross or Penning if I like Penning better.
Sure.
Or I could have taken Kayvon Thibodeau.
Hutchinson.
Or I could have taken Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Right. So, give me Hutchinson and Sauce Gardner, and the Jets have a nasty first round.
Yeah.
Right at 4 and 10.
Yeah.
Not that Hamilton's a bad player. Kyle Hamilton is a stud, but again, when you look at that tandem,
Did you learn your Jamal Adams lesson?
Well, and if I'm a team like the Jets, I need so much help at premium positions.
Right.
And maybe they feel good because they have what's his name at left tackle? Becton, isn't that who's over there at left tackle now? Mekhi Becton.
Yes.
So maybe they feel okay there. But again, that's where they don't have an Aiden Hutchinson.
No.
They don't have one of those.
No.
Give me the best or second best defensive player in the draft and give me the number one corner in the draft. Yeah, I can let Kyle Hamilton go for that because I just got way better at 2 premium positions.
Heard that.
So
no, that's good. That's good. So rounding out the top 10 was a little crazy there. That would set the table for some chaos trickling down into the rest of the first round. Number 11, the Washington Commanders with Commander Carson. Get help from Garrett Wilson, Ohio State wide receiver. You've got a choice. There's still a good offensive lineman on the board here. And like you said, every team needs offensive line help, but certainly Washington. But they go with Garrett Wilson here, who, inarguably is one of the best, if not the best receiver, prospect in the draft.
Probably your consensus number one for most people.
No real complaint here. You just hope that the guy doesn't torch you for his first part of his career. And we've got Carson throwing to him, so
this pick would make me sad. Because I really like Garrett Wilson. And his career is going to go down the toilet because Carson Wentz is his quarterback.
Yeah.
This pick would make me really sad because I like the player.
But
not Wilson, because I think that Washington's going to do anything.
But Wilson and McLaurin would be a nice receiver combo. Got Gibson back there too, so they would have great skill positions. You could
have some fun with that for sure.
Yeah, you would hope Carson couldn't mess that up, but ask Frank Reich what he thinks about that.
So we love the Giants picks. Don't love Washington's pick. What about the Eagles picks?
Washington's pick is just clear right there. So that's easy.
That's a good pick. Good player.
So Stingley, Karlaftis, and Cross go to some other teams before the Eagles pick at 15, right? So good, because those are really good players. And the Eagles at 15 start off their 3 rounds of 3 first-round picks with Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of Washington. Pretty clean prospect. There's been no real down talk on McDuffie.
He's just small.
He's just small. But
right. But he could be. He could project to be like a Jair Alexander type, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's a really good athlete. You know, he tested well at the combine. So McDuffie's a good player. Really sticky corner.
Yeah, and versatile, right? Even though you're picking at 15 there, it's more about the need of the team and kind of your, you've got 3 first. This guy, you're not drafting him to be like a shutdown corner, but just a really good corner on your team. And then you follow it up with Drake London, big wide receiver out of USC. And that's one of those that, like, again, are the Eagles really scaring you from an offensive point? They were good running the ball last year, but we kind of saw put up against our defense, they really couldn't hold up. Drake London kind of changes, their offense because now
Yeah, I
you've
like
got
the
a big
versatility it adds.
6'5"
Right,
guy
right,
with Devonta Smith, with some of the other skill
right. If
positions,
Jalen
right?
Reagor can ever show up, and
Right.
live up to his draft value, but those are
Yeah.
both smaller guys. So yeah, it gives you a big body guy that you can put on the outside, and could be Mike Williams with a little bit better route running technique, I think, which
Yeah.
is kind of terrifying. And
Yeah.
because he's not just a 6'4" go up and high point it guy. That's why he's the second guy that goes here.
Hmm.
He's number 6 on my board, but honestly, man, like 1 through 7 is so close,
It's
or really
fluid.
2
Yeah.
2 through 7, because
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson is pretty clear cut number 1 for me. But
Hmm.
2 through 7 on my wide receiver board is, I mean, interchange any of them, right? I'm not gonna hate on a team for taking any one guy over the other one in that
Yeah.
mix.
Because you start thinking about the fits, with
Mhm,
those and
mhm,
those. I think it plays into the wide receiver, where they go more than this guy's
mhm,
just better than this guy.
mhm, mhm.
But yeah, that's a solid 2 picks for them right there. Hate to see it go to the Eagles. Good players. But again, the Eagles have been rumored to be in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. So, these 3 first-round picks may be ammunition because allegedly that's the Texans' floor.
Right.
They're not even entertaining people that aren't offering
Mhm,
3 first,
mhm.
and 3 first in this year's draft. I don't. No one else can offer that, right?
Right.
Now maybe they go 2 this year and 1 next, but
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm, mhm.
But
They do have the draft capital, though.
they certainly do. So you don't want Deshaun in the in the conference, or sorry, in the division, but they were going to get their pick of really good players here at 15, 16, and 19. So
Mhm.
not a surprise to see some of those go there. Now at 19, um they get Ojabo, Michigan
Yeah,
edge
David
rusher,
Ojabo.
right?
Mhm.
Green goes right before that. Just a note for us.
Ugh, that's painful.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, right. Because he's at 18, he's hanging there. We
mhm,
think we're gonna
mhm,
get him, but the
mhm.
Saints pick him up. But Ojabo goes there. So Eagles go wide receiver, corner, edge rusher. Um, and I think
Probably right.
they fill some pretty big needs on their team,
That's
right?
probably right. And Ojabo, that could be a really good pick. It could also end up not being a
Sure,
great pick,
could be, yeah.
That guy
Because
is
now we're talking about the 5th or 6th pass rusher off the
well, and he's
board
all
now.
potential, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now, don't get
yeah.
me wrong, I have him ahead of Jermaine Johnson, so I still think they did
Hmm.
better than the Giants if they get a Jabo at 19.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jabo, I like. Dude's a freak athlete. He's got
Hmm.
prototypical size, speed, strength,
Hmm.
but he's just really raw as a pass rusher.
Hmm.
And he played on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson last year,
Yeah.
So um, I just think that maybe there was a little bit of pressure off of him being the other defensive end in that scheme. So we'll see.
Hmm.
I like Ajabo. He's a good player, but super, super
Hmm.
raw.
All right, so that happens at 19, and now the Cowboys are 5 picks away.
Who
We
do we
are
lose? Who do we lose?
we lose Jordan Davis,
Oof.
Kyer Elam,
Eh,
which okay,
I like Elam.
Devin Lloyd,
Our guy Tommy
which
that tunes in every now and then, he loves
hmm
himself some Kyrie Elam. That's who he
hmm
wants in the first round.
yeah, we got
He's
Devin
okay.
Lloyd goes Utah linebacker, which some people have wanted,
He
and
tested super slow. I'm fine.
Chris Olave, Olave,
Olave.
yeah, Chris
Olave.
Olave, goes right before us
Mm,
at 23.
love me some Chris Olave.
But
So that means
we,
I've got Garrett Wilson, Drake London, and Olave all off the board.
so you know who's there? Your
My
guy,
favorite player.
your guy,
My favorite
Traylon
player.
Burks, Arkansas wide receiver,
Please, bro.
D, big
Please.
big boy
Please.
Debo is there at
Please.
24 and gets
Please.
drafted by the Cowboys. Now, there's a lot of people that
I'll go
would
buy a jersey tomorrow.
there's a lot of people that love this pick, right? There's a lot of people that are going to say, hey, we let Coop go. We need to reload the offense. We got $4 million quarterback. We need to make sure he's good. Give me more firepower at the wide receiver position. And, maybe a cap situation to be named, because on the offensive side of the ball, you really want to make sure you keep young, productive contracts, to
Mhm,
surround that.
mhm.
So, I mean, I at no point hate this pick, but just for, I mean, I know how you feel about it, but just to make it spicy, At 26 and 27 go Tyler Linderbaum and Zion Johnson. They're still on the board when you pick at 24. You're in the war room. Jerry's eating a salty egg McMuffin, and he's asking you, Eli, who are we going to pick right here? And what do you tell him? Do you go with your guy Burks, or are you getting them all those linemen?
Man, so like those are literally players 1, 2, and 3 for me. Actually,
right.
Kenyon Green didn't test super well, so I moved him down just a couple spots. Linderbaum is short with short arms and he's lightweight, so everything tells me that at some point that's going to be an issue, but he's really good at football. And Zion Johnson has good tape and tested like in the 99th percentile pretty much across the board as an O-lineman. I think today, right now, give me Zion Johnson.
You need Zion. See, this is the thing for me. We are going,
but Treylon Burks is
so
much fun.
Who are you going? This is the thing.
This is what the Bengals had to deal with last year, right?
Exactly.
Do I take Slater or Sewell, or do I take Chase?
Now, this is you just made my damn point for me because I was watching the Bengals. No, it's great. I was watching the Bengals at the end of the season, and remember, I kept asking you. I was like, "Who's going to stop them?" And you were like, "I don't know. I mean, they're not that." But what I was seeing was a coaching staff that was like fully integrated with all 11, right? I got a straight connection with my QB. We are making stuff happen on that field with our personnel, and we are beating the defense every time, we snap the ball, right? Even in the Super Bowl, Aaron Donald, rightfully so, makes the game-winning play, right? To seal a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow and those offensive coaches have been watching that last play where Jamar Chase is wide open by 7 yards running down the field. And if they could get a lick of blocking, just a whiff of blocking, Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl.
So what do you do, right? What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly, right? Now, the whole season they had got there. They even survived a 9-sack onslaught from the Titans in a playoff game.
Well, and I guess the question kind of comes down to, and I know that you haven't seen all the players like I have as much, right? But because I do think that there's some interior offensive linemen that you can find in the second round that you'd be okay with. They could come in and be starters.
Okay.
So do I like Treylon Burks enough that I go with Ed Ingram out of LSU, who didn't test super well but has really good tape? Or Jamari Sawyer, another Georgia player, because the whole Georgia team is draftable this year. Those guys are going to be there in the second round. So, do I go with like Burks and Sawyer, Burks and Ingram, or do I go with Zion Johnson and then go with Sky Moore out of Western Michigan? All right. Do I go with Jalen Tolbert out of Southern Alabama in the second round at wide receiver?
You know what it is?
George Pickens at Georgia, right?
I should have been more transparent. I've been working on my communication and really trying to express, what I mean the first time around. I don't trust Kellen Moore. Okay? That's really what it is.
So you want the offensive guard first, and we'll just take the second round.
I just don't trust him.
I mean, that's fair because Treylon Burks is not going to be like your standard receiver wherever you play him.
Exactly.
He's 6'2", 225, but he's not going to be your X receiver. He's a guy that works in the slot, works out of the backfield. We've talked about him. He's your Deebo Samuel type guy, but he runs like AJ Brown and he's built like a DK Metcalf, right? So what do you do with that guy? Because he's not, this crisp route runner, put him outside and just let him work one-on-one on an outside receiver. He's certainly not going to fare any better than Amari Cooper did last year against a cover 2 shell look on the outside. But if he's my slot wide receiver, right, just envision a world where I've got Michael Gallup and CD on the outside, and instead of running the slot routes as Cedric Wilson, it's Treylon Burks,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because he would at least be that. At least he would be that. But to your point, I could go get a Sky Moore or a Jalen Tolbert and put them in the slot. I could go get John Mechie out of Alabama and
Right.
put him in the slot in the second round. And I do feel a lot better about Zion Johnson as a player than I do about, like I said, Ed Ingram or Jamari Sawyer. Feel good about those guys. I think they would come in and start for you day one, and you'd be happy with them.
I
But
guess I'm
I
not
don't
gonna get
know.
over my trust issues until, like, I don't know.
Right, you got to see it. I gotta see.
But
CDs,
bro, I gotta
Bengals
see like
line up in the
16 weeks
backfield.
too.
Yeah,
Like I ain't even.
yeah,
We not
no,
doing that. Oh, we off to 5-0.
sure.
Oh, we 7-0. You know,
And I do
scheme
think that's the thing
god.
with Treylon
No,
Burks, right? You know, if Chris Olave is there, he's a better route runner, so you may
right.
feel better about him just naturally being there,
If
right?
you told right, and I know it's not gonna. But if you told me that was Garrett Wilson that fell,
Sure, we're
okay,
taking Wilson because
right,
that dude can run routes and work inside, outside, doesn't matter.
sure. You know,
He's a
like
stud,
keep
and he runs a
keep
4.3.
calling. Keep calling that he's just gonna get open because he's that good, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's really what it is.
Burks is
I
going to be
don't,
a little bit different when it comes to separation and stuff like that, for sure.
and I guess that's what it is. I don't trust the coaching staff enough to make a more, I guess, bold play there in the first round with taking a guy with that type of talent. Whereas, like, if we had a Shanahan's coaching staff or those Bengals coaching staff, Rams coaching staff, those type of offensive minds, then I'm like, oh yeah, please give me more gadgets and we'll fill it in on the other part. But
well, and I think there's an argument to be made for, we've talked about CD being, wanting him to be in the slot. I don't know that Treylon Burks does that for you, right? I don't know, I don't know that I would want him to be that outside guy.
Yeah, they're probably splitting time then.
Yeah, if you told me that they were splitting time, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But if you tell me I have two slot guys and I'm just going to make CD play outside all the time because that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
And that point might as well, like I said, just take Zion in the first round and go get George Pickens out of Alabama,
right?
Who, is probably a poor man's Drake London, right? 6'3", 190 something, ran a 4.4 at that size, decent route runner. But a good downfield guy for you that can be that outside receiver.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just see. But if we take Treylon Burks, you're not going to hear me complain. I'll just say that.
Nah. Yeah. Yeah. And that'll be, the continuation of the Cowboys who have seems like a world of talent, but just can't seem to put it all together. But I'll try not to be so pessimistic and be optimistic. I just have some really, really big trust issues coming out of last season.
That question was so difficult that I just moved Treylon Burks to number 2 on my board. So now it's Zion 1 and Treylon Burks number 2. Because I really didn't even I was like, at this point, I'm going to take him over Linderbaum because the league has scared me about his size and everything, even though his tape is great.
Yeah.
And Kenyon Green didn't test super well. So yeah, I'm okay with taking Treylon Burks over them. But as of today, Zion Johnson 1, Treylon Burks 2. That was the order I'm taking those guys.
That's what's up. I mean, mock drafts are fun. That'll wrap that one up. Mock drafts are fun. Did
Nakobe Dean even go in the first?
He didn't. My bad. I meant to say that. Nakobe Dean doesn't even go. Quay Walker goes at the end of the first round in this one to the Dolphins.
How does Quay Walker go?
Devontae Wyatt goes to the Chiefs. But no, doesn't get out of the first round or makes it out of the first round.
Forget to put Nakobe Dean in there. There's no way Quay Walker goes over him. Quay Walker's really good, and he's not making it out of the second round.
He didn't forget, bro.
That's insane. I don't care if he's 5'11" or whatever he is.
Didn't forget.
When that dude on tape is pushing the guy that you just mocked in the first round out of the way to get to the spot, you can't take him over him. You can't do it. Can't do it.
Man, but good show today, man.
I'm all talked out.
Good show.
I am talked out. We did it successfully. Another one.
Now we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back at it with more off-season updates. Anything that happens in the Cowboys world, we'll be there to cover it. any other trades that go down. We'll cover that too in some upcoming shows. Leave some comments what you think about the draft picks here. Leave some comments about what you would do maybe if you were the GM, because Eli thinks he knows everything, and please tell him he's wrong.
Just most things.
But that's it for me, man. It was good hanging out with the AFAB fam today. I'm feeling good. Like I said, I just hope I can get over these trust issues and enjoy the rest of the offseason.
Nothing worse than a woman scorned.
Run
that outro. Run that new outro and let's boogie.
Yeah, we out.
Out.